On your screen right now is video of people climbing up and down the stairs at Roos Field at Eastern Washington University, climbing a total of 110 floors to represent the number of floors first responders climbed in the Twin Towers 24 years ago today. Some local firefighters made the climb in their fire gear, with one of them telling us she's making the climb to honor those who showed up and risked their lives that day.
So that's the reason why I wanted to show up and show out, is because this is something that is just so small, but it's a way to remember the sacrifice that they made.
Now, for many, the images of the Twin Towers collapsing and the devastation at Ground Zero are impossible to forget. Those who were children in 2001 watching from their classrooms or living rooms are now adults explaining to their own kids how that day changed America forever.
Nearly 3,000 people were killed in the attacks, and more than 2 decades later, investigators are still working to identify every victim. CNN's Lee Waldman shows us how they're keeping a promise to never stop working until each person is identified.
The New York City Office of Chief Medical Examiner has been testing remains and using familial DNA to identify the victims who were killed. We spoke to one man whose family has a new sense of closure 24 years after his mother's death.
My mom was just a super woman who certainly should not have been murdered in that way.
It took nearly 24 years, but Paul Keating and his siblings have a new sense of closure after their mother, Barbara Keating's remains were identified. Barbara was on one of the planes hijacked by terrorists on 9/11.
They asked us for the DNA when they thought that there was a chance they found hair in a hairbrush, and she was on the short list, obviously, from the plane.
Barbara's remains were identified along with 2 others last month, Ryan Fitzgerald and a woman whose family is choosing to withhold her name. It's a part of the ongoing efforts by the New York City Office of Chief Medical Examiner.
This office made a very solemn promise to the families of the victims who were lost on September 11th, 2001, to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to identify their loved ones and return them to their families.
So far, the OCME has identified 1,653 remains from the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center in 2001. These latest identifications came from outreach to families for DNA reference samples and analysis using the capabilities of the city's DNA lab. Keating says they're eternally grateful for the work done by the medical examiner's office to bring them closure.
It's amazing. And yes, they did it milligram by milligram. They're still at it.
Barbara and the other 2 victims who were identified are the latest of the World Trade Center victims to be identified since 2024. Right now, there are still nearly 1,100 victims still unidentified. In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.